They keep saying black people will never trust America. And let me tell you, of a truth, they can't. They tell black Americans to forgive. They tell them to trust. But how do you trust a system that was never built for you? For centuries, black Americans have been betrayed, manipulated, and used. From slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, and police brutality to modern broken promises. Today, let's just break it down. Let's just be real, right? Let's talk about the historical betrayal of it. Trust isn't earned overnight. Slavery took their freedom. Segregation tried to take away their dignity. Redlining took their neighborhoods, and yet they survived. Every promise made by white America, freedom, equality, opportunity, has been broken at some point. And history doesn't forget. That memory lives in them, passed down through generations. It can't just, you don't just tell them to forgive and forget. It's not easy. Now let's talk about the patterns. It's not just the past. From systemic racism in housing, education, and policing to corporate exploitation of black culture, the patterns are the same. Every time they try to believe, they are reminded trust without accountability is dangerous. But now, let's talk about the spiritual and cultural strength of this topic I'm talking about. Here's the truth. They don't want you to see. Black Americans have survived every betrayal and every system built to fail them. Their identity, their creativity, their culture, these are untouchable. God has been protecting and preparing them all along. Trust may be limited in them, but faith is unlimited in them. Watch these videos. I'll be back. Make sure you subscribe, like, and keep watching these videos till the end. Keep watching. I'll be back with the closing.
Good morning, y'all. Except to people who are trying to tell black Americans that we need to embrace Zoran Mamdani like he's the second coming. Absolutely not. I don't believe in the forgiveness rhetoric. The forgiveness rhetoric has been used to gaslight and manipulate black Americans since day one. We are one of the few people that are expected to be treated like shit and disrespected, but then turn around and support those who disrespect and mistreat us. Absolutely not. This is going to be my final word for a while on Mamdani. But people in the comment sections of my other videos have said, well, did you want his opposition to win? No, but that doesn't mean that I have to like and kiss his ass and praise him. I absolutely don't. I found out everything that I, as a black American, needed to know about that man last year when he did not support Kamala Harris's presidential campaign and platformed that non-committed movement. That told me all I needed to know about him and others like him. Because it is obvious that Kamala Harris would have been light years better for the country than what we have in there now. So he is the mayor of New York City, and it will be great if he becomes the greatest mayor that New York City ever has, that his work benefits all of New York City, including black American citizens. But I'm not taking a wait and see approach. Time is too short. And black Americans, here's the bottom line. We are the only ones who have ever saved us. Don't buy that lie about Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. No, we freed ourselves. Abraham Lincoln didn't have any other political choice because, trust, he wasn't a friend to black Americans. We have always fought for justice and our rights. We have always stood alone, as the last election was the latest proof of that. Let me tell you, Black Americans, that I am proud of us. People talk shit about us. People within our own community talk shit about us and underestimate us. But y'all, I felt the energy and I still feel it ever since those election results came in on November 5th, 2024. And we've got the memo. We didn't just now start talking about closing our wallets and purses to discretionary spending. Yes, buy what you need, but whenever you can, save your money. Keep our money circulating more within the Black American community. We've been talking about that, and that's what we're doing, including going into this holiday season on. I will never underestimate us because we are here now because of the strength and the resilience and the brilliance and the fortitude and the spirituality and the creativity of our ancestors, and most of us exhibit those same traits because they've been passed down to us. But in terms of, well, Black people, it's nuanced and we need to understand, no, we don't. The only thing that we Black Americans need to do is be Black, and then when it is time, die. That's it. We're going to save ourselves by refusing to spend our money with these retailers and corporations and businesses and individuals that disrespect us. Oh, you better believe they're going to hear us and give us what we want if we stay the course. And I believe that we will, because we're already seeing the effect. Having more money in our pocket, supporting Black businesses that are truly providing products and services that are benefiting our community and the greater market as a whole. We are getting that memo. And again, I am proud of us. So that's how I feel. And that is my final word on Mamdani. And you all have a fantastic day.
I hate to be talking about political things, but this is real talk, real fast. And I speak about all subjects. And some of the things I say, although they may be political, if you really listen, there's a spirit behind it. And I'm still coming from a place of love. Now, with that being said, let me say, hey, yo, peace. This is your man, L. Judge, coming right back at you with some of that real talk, real fast. Now, if you can, make sure you hit like, leave a comment, hit repost. It helps your boy out. It truly does. Now, I know the system hates my generation because we witnessed what put us here today. The situation that we are in today, we witnessed it get this way. Now, there are some people who like to say, oh, Black people, they don't like white people. No, that is absolutely not true. And you even know that because you've been in the store before and some random Black person just came up to you and just had a conversation with you like he was your next door neighbor. Complimented you and everything. We love people. But here's the thing. We hate evil people. This is why sometimes you may see in Black America, you will see a Black America, especially a young person who doesn't learn, who's not emotionally mature. He may unalive someone who looks like him because of the fact that he's like, man, deep down, he's like, man, you look just like me and you're going to do something evil onto me. And you already know that I feel that my life has no value. So you're going to do something wrong to me when I'm going to treat you like your life has no value. And then they'll go out and do something. That's what that inner war is about. And it's reflecting on the outside. They feel they have no value in the court system. And people told them that they have no value and they embrace that. But like I said, we don't hate so-called white people. We hate evil people who may happen to be white. The situation at hand that is manipulating the political environment in America, the situation, the head one, his mentality is the mentality that Black people have been complaining about. And see, people who exist outside of Black people, you can have your opinion, but you really have not much of a right to complain about our conditions because you don't really understand our conditions. You speak a truth, but you don't speak the whole of a truth. So let me give you another truth. During the 1980s and the late 60s to the early 80s, They started these trade schools in the high school where you can go and you can learn plumbing. You can learn I was going to become what you would call a telecommunicator. I was taking telecommunications, and there were many other skills that they had. Now, America was giving us these skills so that we can come out of high school and go into the workforce. And we were graduating at record numbers back at this time. Someone decided to pay the Board of Educations around the United States, and they said, you know what, you got to shut down these skill centers. And this is a conversation that I'm telling you that I heard, that was recorded. The guy said, we need you to shut down these skill centers, and we're going to donate money for the next election for this guy who has the power to shut down the skill centers. The lady asked, well, why would you want to shut down the skill centers? He said, you guys are turning out too many skilled blacks. The lady was trying to hold him up, cause she knew the one phone call was being recorded. And he was like, I don't care. He said, you guys are turning out too many skilled blacks, and we don't have an excuse to not give them jobs. And the lady was like, well, whatever, because she didn't want to get involved in that conversation. Now, here's the thing. They actually started shutting down the skill centers in some towns and in some areas back in the doggone early 80s. They started shutting them down. And that was the reason why, because I couldn't understand. I said, man, why would they get rid of this thing? I had plans on being into telecommunications. Why would they shut this down? I was hurt behind that, and a lot of people were hurt, and we didn't understand. It took me years later to run into a movie called Waiting for Superman, which talks about the public school system. And I heard that conversation. Now, why would I bring that up? The reason why I brought that up is because people tell people who look like this here to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and go and educate themselves. And then we go out and then we do it. And then you say, oh, no, you're doing it too well. So either we move the goalposts or we destroy the system. This has been going on over and over. That's just one example. That's why I say people outside of us, you have the right to say what you want to say, but you really just speaking a truth. You're not speaking the whole truth. You're looking at the people who have been sabotaged at every corner of the square. And still we rise. But some fall in the cracks. And then instead of focusing on the ones who actually make it through the madness, people want to take the ones who fell through the cracks and be like, oh, that's who those people are right there. No, that's who those people are who fell through the cracks. That doesn't speak for all of us. But anyway, that's just something I wanted to get off my chest, man, and to let people know that, hey, man, it's a tough fight. And there have been forces that go against people. And there's a lot of people who do what they're told and they don't get rewarded because of ill thoughts of people who do not look like them. I'm out.
Why are all of the Christmas decorations all of a sudden black people? When did that happen? I've seen multiple videos at this point of people being in the store and all of the figurines and all of the Christmas decorations, they're black people. Like they resemble black people. Black Santa, black Mrs. Claus, black snowman, like everything is like black people. Why? I think that's weird. I think they're specifically targeting black people. I feel like the black dollar really, 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 truly is very, very powerful and important. The black dollar is very important. And so now what they're doing is trying to put out black figurines and African American Christmas decorations in order to get the black dollar. And I believe that that's also having to deal with energy as well. But it's like, why do they specifically need the energy of black people? Why do they specifically want to target the audience of black customers? It's because the black dollar actually holds a lot of importance. And I think it's kind of dystopian that I'm seeing these videos. Like I saw CVS and Dollar Tree both having a bunch of Christmas decorations, but all of them are African American people. Like, or they just resemble African Americans. And I'm just a little bit confused by that, but I also understand that this is because capitalism and these corporations, they understand the value of the black dollar, and that's what they're trying to cater to at this time specifically. And I just feel like no one should actually even be entertaining that at all. Like, we just don't even need to entertain that. It's fine. We're okay without all of the black specific Christmas decorations. Like, no, I don't think we need to participate in that at all.
You know, black Americans are the only group that fights back against white supremacy. No other group fights back against white supremacy. Every other group tries to like thread the line and like not say too much. You go through Vivek Ramaswamy's comic section and it's just white people telling him to go back to India, that they don't want him here, calling him a G. You go through FBI Director Kash Patel's comic section on Twitter and it's them doing the same thing, telling him to go back to India. He shouldn't be here. He shouldn't have the job. He's DEI. You know, we're the only, even like the Indians don't fight back, the Hispanics don't fight back, the Asians don't fight back. Black Americans are the only group that fights back against white supremacy. Like, it's always been like that. I think it will always be like that. And that's just what it is. Like, no one else does, like, everyone else just like puts their hands up and says, okay, cool, you're white, so this is just how it has to be. It's just, it's awful to see. Cause I was just looking at Kash Patel's comment section this morning and I'm just like, why is he just letting white people talk to him like this? Well, then again, on that side, you know, that's what you have to do. You have to just let white people just berate you and destroy you and tell you ain't shit and you don't say nothing back.
This is an excellent point. I listened to part of Mamdani's victory speech. I didn't hear all of it, but I did hear the part where he stated that New York City was built by immigrants. I beg to differ. Immigrants helped, but New York City, as well as this country, was built by Black Americans, especially our enslaved ancestors. And specifically regarding New York City, again, you all need to look up Seneca Village, which was a vibrant, thriving Black community that the city destroyed in order to build what is now known as Central Park. Everyone tries to discredit and erase the contributions of Black Americans who are descended from enslaved Africans and how our ancestors built this nation. Bottom line, the White House, where the East Wing is being demolished so that the felon in chief can have his gilded ballroom that we all need, was built by enslaved people. And so here's this narrative about immigrants. Again, you all, Black Americans, we must stand together collectively and use our voice. And by using our voice, I mean by speaking with our dollars and economic power to make sure that we get what we want and that our contributions in this country are not erased.
I know good and well, not the right telling folks not to gloat about the blue wave. No gloating. We're celebrating because we want the right up out of the positions that they're in. The way that they try to combat it is by telling us to have decorum. What? You want us to behave, to consider your feelings? Get out of here. That is hilarious. Why? Like, how dare you, yo? That's crazy. No, everybody, all you Democrats out there, celebrate. Keep on celebrating. Anybody that's on the right that doesn't want you celebrating, they already know. It's only a matter of time, yo. The inevitability of change for the better is en route. Celebrate. And you on the right that don't like it, don't look at it, don't listen to it, go somewhere. Or focus on your party. How about you put more pressure on this regime to release the Epstein files? Y'all care so much about the children, even though the majority of the pedos in this nation are right-wing weirdos. Talk to them about that, yo. Put some pressure on your people. If you can get them into another town hall, they've been ignoring y'all and those, so I don't know. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing, man. Get your life.
You ever notice how every time we start gaining power, somebody shows up talking about unity? Harold Cruse said that's not unity, that's management. Because every revolution that doesn't control its own culture is just begging to be owned by someone else. And that's exactly what he warned us about, decades before it happened. They buried his name because he was right too early, and too black for white liberals, but too honest for black elites. Harold Cruse wasn't a slogan guy. He was born in 1916, raised in Harlem, right in the middle of that cultural explosion that gave us Langston Hughes, Billie Holiday, all of it. He joined the Communist Party because he wanted liberation, not charity. But then he realized something. Even the radicals were parroting European ideas. They wanted freedom, but they wanted it on Marxist terms. So Cruse walked away and built a language of his own. One that said that black people couldn't just fight for inclusion. We had to fight for infrastructure. In 1967, he wrote The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. It wasn't just a critique, it was an autopsy. He said the movement failed because we gave the culture away. We gave white liberals our art, our politics, our voice, and they handed us awards for it. Meanwhile, we owned nothing. He said the Negro intellectual has been a political orphan. And what he meant was, we built everything except our own institutions. That book called out everybody, from integrationists chasing approval to radicals chasing ideology. He said that you can't borrow somebody else's blueprint for your own freedom. And that's the line that still burns. He said we don't just need representation, we need control. They called him angry, they said he was too harsh. But he wasn't angry, he was exhausted. He watched the Harlem Renaissance turn into entertainment. He watched activism become branding. And he watched universities teach about revolution while firing the revolutionaries. So he went into academia himself, not to fit in, but to build something. He created one of the first African American studies programs at the University of Michigan. And he told every student who'd listen, art is politics and politics is economics. If you don't own them, you don't own anything. Harold Cruse died in 2005. No big send-off, no national tribute. But if you look around today, every one of his predictions came true. Black creativity, monetized. Black pain, marketed. Black movements, funded by the very systems they claim to fight. He told us that we had the passion for freedom, but not the plan for power. And that's still the truth. Harold Cruse didn't want followers. He wanted architects. And until we stop letting other people design our liberation, his crisis is still ours. Say his name. Harold Cruse.
When are we going to stop putting up with violence as black people? I get all the stuff. I get all the ways that we're suffering, the ways we have suffered at the hands of slavery and Jim Crow segregation, transatlantic slave situation. I get all of that. And I also understand how those things with racism needs to be addressed and is not being addressed and really hasn't gone anywhere. And we need to confront those things. And we need people to speak up about those things. And also, why are we as black people so violent? And why do we put up with this behavior? I hear stories, I listen to stories from people that I love, from the TV, from reality TV, and the way grown adult people behave and behave in front of their children as black people. Some of this, we're just going to have to acknowledge that we as a community have been jacked up and have been perpetrating bad, piss poor behavior, and get with a therapist to unpack some of this stuff so we don't pass this on to the next generation, or the black community won't survive.
The guy who actually ended slavery is a guy that they do not want you to know about. It is very uncomfortable for them. William Wilberforce was a politician. He was a Christian politician who really strongly opposed slavery at a time when it was very popular in the 1800s. His time in Parliament, he constantly introduced bills and advocated for the abolition of slavery and the slave trade in general, which was very profitable for the UK at the time. One of the reasons that really pushed him to do this was his Christian faith, and this is why you never hear about it, because it's very uncomfortable, because the left likes to claim every win when it comes to social justice. Now, his efforts culminated in the Slave Trade Act in 1807, which actually ended the slave trade. Now, 3 days before his death, in 1833, they passed the Slavery Abolition Act, which actually ended up abolishing slavery. So he pushed for it until literally his dying breath. This freed over 800,000 slaves across all the British colonies. His work inspired many abolitionists like Frederick Douglass. And why is he not given the praise that he deserves? Mainly because he's white, mainly because he's Christian.
And do me a motherfucking favor and stop pushing that bullshit ass African slave trade story, when America enslaved way more indigenous people than some goddamn Africans. Colonial America depended on the enslavement of indigenous people. Even the fucking advertisements of runaway slaves were Indians. Do that look like a fucking African or a fucking black ass Indian? Like, can we be fucking for real?
It's because America has always known what you are. America has always known who you are. America has understood what you're capable of, and they will make you think you ain't nothing. At the same time that they exploit your gifts, they'll tell you you lazy and make you a slave. They'll tell you you dirty and have you clean their house. They'll tell you you uncivilized, and we raise their children. They know who you are. But it's time that you listen to who you are. That you understand who you are.
Welcome back. If you ask me, Blessing, should they fully trust white America? I will tell you no. They shouldn't fully trust white America. And they shouldn't feel guilty about it. Instead, they should build, create, and rise on their own. Yeah, on their own terms. Because they can reclaim their wealth, their culture, their community, and their destinies. They can't do it on their own because they single-handedly built that country. Even though these people will say, no, it's a lie. That's not true. But these people did it themselves. Now, because Black America doesn't need permission to thrive, all they need is truth, strength, and unity. That's all they need, period, among themselves. And what they're going to build and achieve with these three things I've just mentioned is unlimited, is powerful, more than anything. More than anything, is really powerful. I'll stop here, right? Let me see your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with what I say, or do you think it's a myth? Let me see it in the comment section. Have you subscribed, like, and shared this videos to your friends? Please kindly do that. We're learning about those great people, and we will not stop learning and learning about them. We'll keep learning and unlearning and relearning, right? My name is Blessing, the BJ, right? From Global Just with BJ. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.